drug disposal.
From the Pat Moody Studios, this is News Talk Sports 94.9. WSJM FM Benton Harbor, St. Joseph. Depend on us. WSJM News now. Team coverage from the WSJM newsroom on News Talk Sports 94.9 WSJM.
And good morning and welcome to the WSJM Morning Show. I'm Ken Lundberg. Taking a look at the temperatures outside, we've got 20 degrees in Benton Harbor, 22 in St. Joseph. Let's see, Niles, 14 degrees. Does it feel like that out there?
Feels colder, I think. What do you think, Brian?
Yes, definitely colder.
Cam Earth and Brian Joseph are here today from LMC and Pizza Hut, respectively, to talk about the Creating the Beloved Community. Martin Luther King Jr. Celebration Week is happening next week, and so we're going to talk about some of the activities that are happening. These gentlemen have joined me in the studio this morning. But first, let's get a report on the roads. Cam, you... Did you drive? You drove up from the Niles area this morning?
I certainly did.
Here, can I have you on microphone? I'm sorry.
Oh,
that's all right.
My apologies.
That's all right.
I certainly did. Yes.
How are the roads and how's visibility?
Visibility is difficult in spots, especially there's a lot of snow flying in the air, and of course, when those large rigs move up and down the highway, they can completely cause a whiteout for you. So hopefully that will dissipate as far as the snow.
Yeah.
But I find it not as snowing, not as difficult here, as hard here up in Benton Harbor area.
So the traction is okay on the roadways. It's just that visibility you're dealing with.
Visibility is challenging. That is correct.
Okay, and we've got we have a forecast. Thank you very much for that report. Appreciate that, Brian. You had an okay drive in.
One street over.
Did you walk? Did you tell that dog to quiet down? There's a dog over there that just keeps barking.
It's across the street from me.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah.
I love dogs.
Yeah.
I just don't like it when they bark all the time because they want something. They need something. Yeah. They want to go inside. They want to get their breakfast or something like that.
Yes.
All right. So your 1 block commute, not bad.
Correct.
Okay. Forecast for today, mostly cloudy skies, a 60% chance of snow continuing, an accumulation. We expect it to get around an inch today. And the high is going to remain in the upper teens, lower 20s, west winds 10 to 20 miles per hour, gusts to 30. And that's what's causing some of the visibility issues, especially in the outlying agricultural areas. Nothing to stop the snow from just creating a hazard. Tonight's forecast, mostly cloudy skies, 30% chance of evening snow, low around 12 overnight, west winds 5 to 15 miles per hour. Wednesday, we're looking at partly sunny skies, a high around 18 and west winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Thursday, mostly cloudy. The chance of lake effect snow creeps in, low around 12 degrees and a high around 30 degrees. Some of the news that we're following in the WSJM newsroom this morning. I tell you, the Lawton man is facing charges after police say he defrauded a family of more than $95,000 with false promises of contracting work. The Van Buren County Sheriff's Department says it began investigating 58-year-old Gordon Layton for operating without a license and contractor fraud after the victims contacted them in August of last year. According to the Sheriff's Department, the family hired Layton to rebuild their home after it was destroyed by fire. The victims had received a payout from their insurance company and paid Layton to build their family a new home back in November of 2022. They say, however, after 2 years of waiting and living in an apartment, the family never saw the project finished. Police say Layton poured the foundation and started the construction, but everything stopped in October of 2023. The home site remains a stick frame house, unfortunately, with no siding and no interior work. The Sheriff's Department tells us the family is out more than $95,000. Investigators believe Layton had been floating funds from job to job to try to complete various construction projects. Now the Sheriff's Department is asking anyone else who may have been ripped off to contact them. In the meantime, Layton has been charged with felony contractor fraud, with acting as an unlicensed residential builder, that is, a misdemeanor. I didn't even know felony contractor fraud was a charge. That's a big deal.
Neither did I.
Yeah. Well, that's good. I mean, I like that you have some sort of recourse, especially if your contractor turns out to either not be licensed or is floating your funds around. And Not finishing the family home. That's no good. Dowagiac Police Department investigating after shots were fired at a golf course over the weekend. It says officers were called to the Elks Golf Course in Riverside Drive around 11:15 a.m. on Saturday when somebody reported suspects in two vehicles discharging firearms. The vehicles were described as a gray sedan and a white SUV. One person was seen fleeing the scene on foot. The incident remains under investigation. Police don't have any suspects yet. No injuries reported, thankfully. Anyone with information on the incident is asked to contact the Dowagiac Police Department. New Heights CCDA is planning a couple of events to help Berrien County residents find new employment. New Heights Operations Director Chris Craig tells us there will be a job fair at the New Heights Laundry Hub on February 6th, and to prepare for that, they'll hold a job readiness training event on January 30th. They say anyone can attend to learn how to put their best foot forward when seeking a job.
We have 4 people. We have representatives from the Women's Business Center, Cornerstone Alliance, Fifth Third Bank, Corwell, and Express Employment Professionals. So they've all volunteered their time to come in for that readiness training event.
They will cover items like drafting a resume, how to dress for an interview, and other things. Craig says those who attend can even build their resume right there at the event. Then there's the job fair featuring 10 employers. That will be held on February 6th.
They'll all have, all have a table that people can come and talk to them and see if they might be a good fit or fill out an application for employment on the spot.
Participating employers will include the U.S. Postal Service, Corwell Health, Elwood Staffing, and Fifth Third Bank. Craig says New Heights CCDA is teaming up with Michigan Works for the engagements. The events are open to the public. The job readiness event on January 30th runs from 3 to 5 p.m. at the Laundry Hub at 2121 Red Arrow Highway. The job fair on February 6th will run from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Laundry Hub. Registration not required. It is recommended. And we have more information on our website, WSJM.com. One more, coming up at the Dr. T.K. Lawless Park in Cass County is the return of Winter Nights. It's a celebration of the season featuring a variety of activities for the whole family. The Cass County Parks Department, Patty Dome, tells us the Winter Nights event is a way for everyone to have some fun while taking in the glorious night skies at the region's only international dark sky park. That's an interesting designation. For the next 4 Saturdays, the plan is to open the park from 5 to 9 p.m., offer tubing and stargazing demonstrations, and more activities.
We have 3 miles of lighted cross-country ski trails that will be open. We have our biking trails open, so if anybody's into that bicycle tire stuff, then that'll be open for them. We also have some crafts and stuff in the heated building, so when our little noses and fingers and toes get cold, we have a place to bring them up in a sled.
Dome says those who head inside to warm up can take part in arts and crafts by a roaring fire. She also recommends trying the concessions, in particular the hot chocolate. They say it's good. Winter Nights will take place January 18th and the 25th and also run February 1st and 8th. Admission $2 per person. Dr. Lawless Park is located at 15122 Monkey Run Street. Dome does note that Winter Nights is a weather-dependent event, meaning if there's no snow on the ground, the event that night will be canceled. That's a look at some of the news that we're covering from the WSJM newsroom. We've got more to talk about. We've got sports in just a moment. We also have our interview this morning talking about the Martin Luther King Jr. Celebration Week that's scheduled next week. We'll check in with Cam Hirth from LMC and Brian Joseph from Pizza Hut. That's coming up in just a moment. Actually, we'll start that interview right now on our video live stream on Facebook and YouTube. Just jump on over there and you can see the unfiltered interview begin, or just wait a couple of minutes and we'll be back here as well, right here on WSJM.
Cade Cunningham scored 36 points.
All right. Good morning and welcome back to the video live stream on the WSJM Morning Show. Hello, gentlemen.
Good morning.
It's very good to have you here. Thanks for venturing out in the cold and joining us.
Yes,
It
absolutely.
seems to be becoming a routine for us around this time of year.
Yeah.
That's good. We appreciate that. We like that a lot. You're here to talk about Martin Luther King, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Celebration Week. And it's not just a day, it's an entire week. So I love that you've got the whole schedule here. We can talk about that in just a moment. But for those who may not remember you from the last time you were here, Cam Hirth, LMC, could you just give yourself a brief introduction and then we'll move over to Brian?
Be happy to. Yes. I'm Cam Hirth. I serve at Lake Michigan College as the Dean of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. And I've been out there now for about 3 years.
Okay.
And I've had the pleasure of being one of the principals and coordinating this community impact event out at Lake Michigan College.
Excellent, excellent. And Brian, I'm going to ask you to hold for just a moment. We have to get back to the airwaves, and then I'll have you introduce. Just a moment now, here on WSJM.
And a high of 18. I'm Chief Meteorologist Carrie Peugeot.
The Morning Show with Ken and Friends on 94.9 WSJM.
7:16, it's the WSJM Morning Show. Good morning, I'm Ken Lundberg. Thank you for joining us. And I jumped the gun. I let Cam introduce himself before we got back to the radio, and then I cut Brian off altogether. So my apologies, Brian.
That's okay.
So,
That's okay.
Cam Hirth, would you mind just giving a brief introduction again, and then we'll go to Brian.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Cam Hirth. I serve at Lake Michigan College as the Dean of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. And I have the pleasure of being the coordinator for this year's program, that being the MLK celebration, Creating the Beloved Community, which will be on January the 20th out at the college in the beautiful surroundings of the Mendel Center.
I love that theme, and I want to dig into that and find out what's behind that, how you came up with that. Also, Brian Joseph is here from Pizza Hut. Would you please, for those who may not know you, I find that hard to believe, by the way.
You're too kind.
Would you
Ken.
introduce yourself, please?
Brian Joseph, Director of Sales and Marketing at Michigan Pizza Hut. We are partnering as a company, Michigan Pizza Hut, with the college. We think it's a great event, and this is our second year in a row that we've partnered with the college to help bring awareness to the MLK celebration.
Excellent. Excellent. And we appreciate you doing that and coming in and talking about it. Brian reached out and he said, hey, we've got these events coming up. Could we come on the radio? And I said, absolutely, anytime. I would love to have you here. So thank you for the thank you for reaching out. We appreciate it. And Cam, tell us a little bit about so the whole event theme is creating the beloved community. What does that mean?
Pretty self-explanatory in a manner of speaking, in the sense that, we're recently coming off of a great event in our community, and that being the Unified Civic Monument piece. And we had the opportunity of unveiling those wonderful monuments in St. Joseph, as well as in Benton Harbor. And that really has set the tone in the sense of creating a beloved community, in the sense that it's showing and demonstrating the type of qualities that we would like to see embodied in our communities. And so we wanted to make sure we followed up on that energy. And of course, working with our MLK planning group, everyone was in agreement in the sense that they thought that that was very appropriate. So we're trying to stay consistent with that. And in doing so, we're also going to be doing some type of a recap, if you will, or where do we go from here? We've been able to establish these monuments. And of course, there's more to just simply erecting those monuments. It's about how do we adjust our behavior? How do we embrace one another? How do we embrace the concept of the oneness of humankind? So that's pretty much what the foundation is for our celebration and for all the activities that will be taking place during the course of the week.
Yeah, and it was no small feat to get those monuments put in place. Now that you have them in place, what is some of the discussion? What are they saying in those meetings when you're talking about, okay, what's next?
Exactly. What are the next steps? And some of the things that we are discussing is the fact that some may or may not be aware of the fact that there is a curriculum component that's involved with the Unified Civic Monument piece. And obviously, Lake Michigan College being an educational institution, we're exploring what role we might play in regards to advancing that curriculum and advancing the principles of creating the beloved community. As one of our central pillars in our strategic plan, community impact. So how do we advance that through this particular theme and what we do out at Lake Michigan College and educating the community?
Yeah. And Pizza Hut, this is the second year in a row you've partnered with LMC on this event for the week of celebration.
Mm-hmm.
Brian, tell us a little bit about why that commitment.
Well, as a company and as a resident of Benton Harbor, I was actually born and raised. I've always felt that in order to receive, you have to give, you have to do, you have to be part of the community, and so the owners, have allowed me to participate in a lot of community events on both sides of the river. And that's what I try to do. So it's important, to be involved and help bring awareness to, the MLK celebration. And I'm devoted to that, as well as Michigan Pizza Hut. And that's why, we've partnered with the college last year, when they had Layla Ali come in, and now this year with the second MLK celebration. So it's just a great event. It's good for the community. It's good for the college, and it's good for everybody to continue to work together, because that's the only way we're going to make it. We have to work together. Whatever's happened, 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago, yes, that has happened. But guess what? We have to make improvements, and we have to move forward.
Okay. And thank you for that, Brian. And so some of the activities, maybe we can walk through the individual activities, Cam, that are scheduled for next week, and talk about, feel free to talk about each one of these and what their relative impact, or what their respective impact is expected to be. So let's start on Monday. What do we have going on there?
Well, Monday is our kickoff. That's will commence at 1:00. We'll have a social period between 1 and 1:30. There will be musical entertainment during that period of time. It will allow us an opportunity, that being the community, to be able to get together, to network, to socialize, and to build that relationship. Then, of course, at 1:30, we will start our program. We have as our keynote speaker the president for the NAACP for the Niles Buchanan area, that is Beverly Woodson. So she will be a key figure in sharing the information and following up in regards to what does that look like in creating a beloved community. Again, we're focusing, I shouldn't say focus, we are utilizing the arts. It has been my experience that in working with the arts, it creates avenues of discussions. It creates openness in the sense that that allows folks to feel more comfortable, more creative in expressing some of the things that need to take place. So there will be a variety of activities. Of course, we have our traditional spotlight, Spirit of MLK Spotlight recipient honorees that'll be recognized during that day. One from the organization, community organization, and then an adult from the Berrien County community, and a youth. So we'll be recognizing 3 areas of demonstration of the spirit of creating the beloved community, and that's service in the community. So those are just some of the highlights for the on the Monday event that'll be taking place.
On that Monday event, you mentioned highlighting what needs to be done. In your opinion, what needs to be done?
I think creating spaces like what we're going to be doing on Monday, and it doesn't have to end on Monday. Again, this is a week-long activity, and hopefully this will go beyond a week. And what I mean by that is that hopefully we will spark the interest, the understanding, the appreciation of individuals, organizations, and communities to be able to find avenues and opportunities where they too can engage in conversations, whether those conversations come from panel discussions or just from the conversations that might take place in the work settings. How do you see what it is that you do, organizations and individuals, to embrace the spirit of creating the beloved community?
Okay. I've got more questions, but let's continue on with the schedule. Tuesday, you've got a movie screening, Origin. What is that?
Origin is one of the movies that will hopefully feed into the panel discussion in regards to how do we create this beloved community. And we have a variety of panel discussions throughout the week. And we wanted to not simply have just a conversation, but in this particular case, to be able to utilize something to springboard that conversation. So Origin and the content of Origin will stimulate, we believe, that conversation.
Okay, for those of us who have not seen that movie, I have not. Can you give us an overview? What is that? What is that?
Well, I haven't been
you haven't seen it either.
Involved in it because
okay.
One of our MLK panel members, Charmaine Sanders,
they're
is
leading
responsible for the panel discussions. I am engaged in the panel discussion on Wednesday, which is a student panel discussion, we will be working with the student LMC Student Multicultural Organization and the students involved in that, and we'll be engaged in the same concept of creating beloved community. What does that look like in regards to LMC?
Yeah. Okay. Thursday, you've got, so that's that panel discussion. So far we've got on Monday, you've got the MLK Junior Celebration Program that starts at 1:00 with networking. Then a panel discussion that evening at 7:00 talking about chaos or community, how to have a civil discourse about racism during turbulent times. That's happening at the Fettig Lecture Hall at the LMC main campus. Tuesday, you've got the movie screening of Origin. That happens at 7 p.m. And then Wednesday, there are going to be a couple of different panel discussions. One is that student panel discussion you mentioned that happens at 2:00 in the afternoon. And then there will be a further panel discussion at 6 p.m., the review of the movie Origin. And then on Thursday, another panel discussion, creating the beloved community. Anything, how is that? Who's running that one?
Well, again, the panel discussions have been organized by one of the panel members or one of the MLK panel members.
Okay.
And that is going to be organized around a faith-based conversation.
Okay.
So we'll have members, different leaders from the faith-based community here that will also be engaging in how does that impact them? You know, what is taking place from a faith-based that reinforces, creating the beloved community.
Okay, and then it all culminates Saturday on the 25th with LMC versus Kellogg Community College. There's a basketball game, and the special highlights there, MLK celebration theme, and there'll be a presentation and some spotlight recipient introductions there as well. So bringing it full circle, because you're talking about the students, the arts. You've got the celebration of the sporting event on Saturday. What, as you think about kind of the backdrop of MLK Day, January 20th, 2025. How are you feeling about everything that's been happening in recent, let's say, months, years around these questions involving creating a beloved community? I left it wide open for you there.
I'm feeling positive.
Okay.
And I'm feeling positive from the perspective that, we encounter opportunities. I like to see them as opportunities that are brilliantly disguised as challenges. So
that's a great way of putting it.
As we address the different challenges, that I think we need to keep that in mind. Let us unwrap those challenges so that we see them as opportunities on how that we can move forward together. I know, as we look at some of the challenges in the world, we've had an opportunity to try to explore how do we engage as many individuals from different levels and different places as possible. So one of the things that will be happening or that you'll have an opportunity of seeing on that Monday is that, we've reached out to the Martin Luther King Jr. Elementary School, and we're working with some of the students there and Principal Rocket there, and they have contributed artwork that is based on creating the beloved community. So, and it being consistent with reaching across the bridge with St. Joe, we've also reached out to Brown Elementary and Principal Hernandez there, and their students have also created artwork. But it's also stimulated a conversation that I had asked for them to share with the students, simply not to just, certainly we can enjoy the creation of the artwork, but what are the conversations you can have with the students during the process so that they're engaged in creating and developing and coloring the pieces for the program, but so that they have somewhat of an understanding as well. And of course, reaching out to our various sponsors. Of course, we're working with Whirlpool, and Corewell Health is one of our principal sponsors. And obviously, Pizza Hut has always been consistent with us in that regards. And of course, How Does United Way, which has been one of our sponsors and our cohort of sponsors. And we're delighted to have Andrews University here again and working with Dr. Hucks, who's my counterpart at Andrews University. So we engage, we engage in those conversations, and it creates opportunities to move further into, what actually will take place in the future. What are the other activities we can engage in?
Yeah. Is it opening the door to those conversations getting easier?
Yes. It is getting easier because, we don't always agree, but we can agree to disagree. But to be at the table and to be able to have the conversation is certainly a promising start. To be separated and not engaged in any conversation pretty much determines that there will be very little progress, or it'll be in the negative way.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, we're talking with Cam Hirth from LMC, Lake Michigan College, Diversity, Equity, Inclusion about Martin Luther King Celebration Week. It starts next week on January 20th through the 25th. Also, here's Brian Joseph from Pizza Hut, one of the key sponsors of that event and organizers of some of the events as well. So we'll come back and have more of this conversation in just a couple of moments right here on the WSJM Morning Show. We've got news coming up from Bloomberg, our Financial Minute, ABC News, as well as local news from the WSJM Newsroom next.
Would you call free checking that?
Okay, continuing on the video live stream here on WSJ. Gentlemen, how are we doing so far?
Doing well.
I think so. You tell me.
No, it's good. It's good. You know, I remember, you know, last year we were here talking about Celebration Week, and we were talking about the Unified Civic Monument Project, and it was still, they were still raising money at that time, and they achieved their goals. They built the monuments, as you mentioned. There's still an education curriculum that will be put in place, and so, you know, I think about some of the news stories, specifically in the area of DEI and how that's going these days with some big corporations. Some are being challenged of, you know, and it's a whole number of different areas dealing with DEI, being challenged on whether or not they should continue those. Some companies, I would say, have capitulated and changed course. Other companies, Apple, for instance, just most recently this week said, we're doubling down on DEI practices and policies. What do you want people to know when they ask about DEI?
One thing that I often share with individuals, and I just recently had an opportunity to meet with the RA staff over at Beckwith Hall, the Residence Hall at Lake Michigan College, and in speaking with them, you know, I first of all express my appreciation for the work that they do, because the work of welcoming and creating a feeling of belonging in the residence hall, I said, is a perfect example of what we're speaking about, creating a beloved community. You want to make sure that the residents feel welcome, that they feel that they're respected, that they feel that their voice is being heard. And so these were just some of the principal things that I shared with them. Diversity is a fact. You know, everyone wants to be treated equal, but yet we also want to be mindful of equitable treatment, because there may be some that require more than just, you know, an equal proportion, but an equitable proportion. It's a reality of our life. I shared with the students, I said, you know, it's like going to college. And you went to college and they only offered you biology, you know, well, were those other elements that need to be a part of that, you know, especially if you're paying for it, right? You would expect to get a 360 education, you know, in regards to the information that needs to be shared. I've often spoken with faculty and staff at LMC and indicated that, you know, one thing that really impresses me about LMC and the college is that everyone is an ally in regards to DEI. How active you will be, how informed you will be, are some of the questions that you need to be asking, because diversity exists, and you want to make sure that that you can recognize that and embrace it and advance it. If there's anything that's lacking, it's a matter of understanding how to fully embrace and appreciate that. Once we understand that, then we all tend to benefit. You know, I often, they probably get tired of hearing me saying it, but I say, you know, a rising tide lifts all boats. And when we can appreciate, respect, and understand each other, everyone feels better and everyone feels more inspired to contribute to creating a beloved community.
Yeah. That's why you lead DEI right there. Thank you. No, thank you for that explanation. And one of the things I think about when you say appreciation, it starts with awareness and education, right? And so, and getting those, getting a foundation about what the actual issues are, I think is one of the biggest mountains to climb.
Absolutely. It's removing that misinformation, if you will.
Yeah.
You know, let's make sure that people truly understand what it is that we're speaking about. Because I think then when we understand that everyone can benefit when we work together, then why would you not be in support of that? I think it's that misinformation when people think that I lose something because you gain something, and that it doesn't have to be that way. That's a misinformation piece.
Yeah. How do people? So someone's got a desire to gain an appreciation, gain an education around these topics. How would you recommend they do that? They gain that if they don't have access to maybe coming to one of these events, and one event is not going to do it either.
So true. And that's what I was going to leave with.
Okay.
The example coming to events such as the MLK celebration.
Yeah.
But what's happening around you? I mean, if you're working, what type of activities is your organization engaged in? What is your service behavior? How are you engaged in your community? How are you dealing with your family and members of your family? How are you respecting them? Because when we speak about diversity, it's not simply about race or ethnicity. It's gender, it's abilities, and it's all of these other variables that can be considered. And so each and every one, the diversity of variables that we look at need to be appreciated and respected and hopefully understood, because through that understanding, it's going to help you have that appreciation, I believe.
Yeah. All right. Thank you. Well stated. Just a moment. We've got to get back on the airwaves here. And good morning and welcome again to the WSJM Morning Show. I'm Ken Lundberg. 7:37. Great discussion happening right now on the video live stream. We're talking about a couple of different issues. We're talking about the celebrations that are planned next week for Martin Luther King Jr., the celebration week. LMC is leading the charge, putting this together. They've got events Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. What happened to Friday? Cam.
Oh, Friday, a day of rest.
And on Saturday. No, you've got a plate full of activities. And so we appreciate you putting this together. And thank you very much. Sponsors include Andrews University, Corewell Health, Whirlpool Corporation, United Way, Connexus Group, Lake Michigan College. Pizza Hut is putting together great support for this. I want to ask you about the box tops. Are they called box tops or box toppers?
Box toppers.
Toppers. See,
toppers, yes.
The pizza lingo I am not familiar with.
That's okay.
But
That's all right.
Box toppers, you've got special box toppers created for this week, this event, correct? Okay.
Correct.
We'll talk about that, if that's all right, in just a couple of moments. Find out more about how those were devised and what that means. That's coming up in just a moment. We've got to get to a couple of news items here. ABC News and our latest from the WSJM newsroom.
ABC News, I'm Sherry. Preston, more water, more help. A fresh team of firefighters has arrived in the Los Angeles area, along with additional tankers, as those fierce Santa Ana winds pick up once again in Southern California. The fires have so far killed 24 people and destroyed thousands of homes and businesses. The Department of Justice making public the final report by Special Counsel Jack Smith on his election interference case against President-elect Donald Trump. Smith determining, says ABC's Nicole D'Antonio,
prosecutors had evidence to prove that the 2020 election was not stolen despite Trump's repeated allegations to the contrary. In a letter obtained by ABC News that Smith sent Attorney General Merrick Garland last week, along with his final report, Smith defended his conduct as fully lawful, free of partisan influence, and vital to the aspirations of the justice system.
Confirmation hearings begin this morning for Donald Trump's pick for defense secretary, former Fox News host Pete Hegseth. This is ABC News.
WSJM News Now. Team coverage from the WSJM Newsroom on News Talk Sports 94.9 WSJM.
It is the WSJM Morning Show. Good morning. It's 7:39. The temperature outside right now, we've got 19 degrees in Benton Harbor. It's cooled off a little bit. The feels like outside 10.
Yes.
10 degrees.
Yes.
It looks like we've got some snow pending because St. Joseph right now, 21 degrees, feels like 9, and snowfall with windy conditions. South Haven, 22 degrees, feels like 8. It's snowing there. Dowagiac, it's 14 degrees and cloudy. The feels like is 6 degrees. Forecast for today, mostly cloudy skies, a chance of snow. Accumulation today expected around an inch. The high today, somewhere in the upper teens, lower 20s. I think we've already experienced our high for the day, honestly. And then tonight's forecast, mostly cloudy, a 30% chance of evening snow, a low around 12 degrees, west winds 5 to 15 miles per hour. Wednesday, it's going to be partly sunny, and with those partly clear skies, that's going to keep our temperatures cold. I'm looking at somewhere around 18 degrees for a high tomorrow. The west winds 5 to 10 miles per hour, but no precipitation in the forecast as of yet. Let's see, some of the news that we're following from the WSJM newsroom. There's a question over whether Hager Township still has a treasurer this morning. At last night's regular meeting of the Hager Township Board of Trustees, audience members tell us that the former state senator and recently elected Hager Township treasurer, Kim Lasada, reportedly took issue with board members after she offered a motion related to compensation. We're told that she offered the motion. No member of the board agreed to second the motion, however. And then there was discussion following regarding Lasada's attendance and proficiency in the role of treasurer. Audience members say that triggered an outburst from Lasada, who then reportedly put her key card on the township office counter and left. The board then formally accepted the resignation thereafter. So if you're looking for a new job as a treasurer for Hager Township, that appears to be open. Other news that we're following this morning from the WSJM newsroom, the Berrien County Parks Department has unveiled a new plan to reduce traffic congestion caused by Silver Beach County Park in St. Joseph. At Monday's regular meeting of the St. Joseph City Commission, Berrien County Parks Director Jill Adams told commissioners some of the measures the department will implement will be in place by this summer. So we'll tell you about what that means for folks who are visiting here at Silver Beach. And then finally, no one is hurt. One man is receiving treatment after a SWAT situation in St. Joseph Township that happened on Sunday. Those stories and more coming up at 8 o'clock this morning right here on the WSJM Morning Show. We'll continue our interview with LMC's Cam Hurth talking about the MLK Junior Celebration Week. It's coming up next week right here on the WSJM Morning Show.
The Michigan News Network.
I'm Beth.
Sorry, we had to get some late-breaking news in there this morning about Hager Township. The treasurer quit.
The treasurer? Really?
Kim Lasada, you know, the former state senator.
Yeah.
She ran and was elected to treasurer for that office. We got a news tip from some folks in the audience this morning that she offered a motion last night regarding compensation. Still trying to get some details on that piece. But no one would second the motion, and then there was a bit of discussion afterwards about Lasada's how she's been doing in the job of treasurer.
Oh, really?
So it ended when she put her key card on the counter and walked out. She resigned, and the board accepted her resignation unanimously.
Not good.
Not good. You know, I mean, you got to keep the dialogue going, right?
Yeah. She just can't walk.
Anyway, all right. So that news. So thanks to our tipster who gave us some insight on that. We did reach out to former Senator Lasada and apparently former Treasurer Lasada on more information on that. We'll let you know if we've heard back. Let me check my email right now. Nope, I don't have anything from my email right now. All right. So we've got that going on. Brian Joseph is here from Pizza Hut, and he's a good friend of the radio station. He's always involved in all the great community things that are happening here. And one of the things that that's happening next week is the Martin Luther King Jr. Celebration Week, January 20th through the 25th, creating a beloved community. We've heard from Cam on some of the elements of that week, but you're involved because of your commitment to community and Pizza Hut. And one of the things you sent me yesterday was a really cool graphic design of the box topper. For people who don't know what a box topper is, who don't live and breathe pizza, which I don't know why anyone would not live and breathe pizza. What's a box topper?
Well, a box topper basically is a
don't overcomplicate it. I know it's on top of the box. No, what's a box topper?
Well, a box topper is something that we create to help to promote a local organization / fundraiser.
So you have opportunities throughout the year to do different,
to promote different events, fundraisers. The MLK celebration. Recently, we had Magic Johnson in town back on August 23rd, and we used it to promote it in 10 of our restaurants in Southwest Michigan.
Okay.
And so we usually do about 200 to 300 to box top to bring awareness. And then we have a coupon on the bottom as, a way to bring in the coupon, to, get a free order breadsticks with the purchase of a $20 purchase, so it brings awareness and also, brings awareness to Pizza Hut and to Lake Michigan College.
I just love the thought and the, I don't want to say the reuse, but the use of that land, that space that you've got. You've got real estate that goes out on the top of your product, and it gets a lot of good visibility for about 2.5 seconds, and then I get into the pizza.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, I told people I'd ask you about pizza. Can I ask you a couple questions about pizza?
Sure.
Pineapple on your pizza, fan or not?
Yes.
Okay, Cam.
I like pineapple.
Pineapple on pizza.
I enjoy it as well.
See, that's 3 of us in the same room. I love pineapple on pizza.
How about that?
A lot of people are just very opposed to this.
I know, but look at here.
Very tasty.
We're
Very
all in
tasty.
agreement.
Love it.
Salmon on pizza.
Salmon?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I might have to pass on that one, Ken.
Cam, you ever have salmon pizza?
No, I can't.
Okay, so the first time I had salmon pizza was in the Pacific Northwest. It was out in the San Juan Islands. A friend of mine had a boat, and so we went to this hole-in-the-wall pizza place on one of the islands. I think it was Rosario's. Anyway, and they offered a salmon pizza, and I did the same thing you did. Like, what in the world are you talking about? Get that fish away from my pizza. No, I ordered a piece of it, and it was the most delicious thing I've ever had. If you like salmon, if you like pizza, try it together. It's actually really good. You can do it either where you just cook the salmon regular, or you can actually have smoked salmon on pizza. I've had that variety too.
Really?
Yeah,
Really?
it's really good.
Now, see the salmon and the smoked, I haven't, but I think it's perfect in our conversation because with diversity, you need to explore things that you may not have experienced.
Yes.
Then you can decide, do you enjoy it or not?
There you go. I like that. All right. Last pizza ingredient question. Eggs on pizza.
Is it scrambled?
It can be scrambled. It can be sunny side up. It can be over easy. It's up to you. I've seen it all 3 ways.
Well, I enjoy eggs.
And I love eggs too.
Yeah. So I'll have to explore that.
Yeah.
You're okay? Okay. You like it? You're good?
Yeah.
Will you start offering one?
Well, it's not me. It's corporate.
Will corporate start offering? No, I'm just kidding.
Plug in there, I think.
No.
What do you think, Brian?
I think the delivery for eggs on pizza probably not going to work unless maybe it's scrambled eggs. I don't know. I think it's got to be fresh.
It would. Well,
I think it's got to be fresh.
Yeah.
Especially if it's like sunny side up or something like that. All right.
Bingo.
So the box top, you deliver hundreds of them once you design the top. What's the run time? How long does it take from the decision of we're going to do one till when you can actually see it in play?
It can take anywhere from 2 weeks to a month, depending on the organization, leadership, trying to pull everything together.
And for this one, how did that come together for the Martin Luther King Jr. Celebration Week?
Well, Cam is my main guy, so I'm working with Cam in order to make this happen. So, Cam and I, we work together, and, between phone calls and emails and, different proofs, the proof process, has go through a number of approvals, and then after maybe 1 or 2 revisions, then we have a final copy.
Excellent. Okay.
Yeah.
And when will people start seeing that?
People have already started seeing them already as of last week.
Okay.
Last Thursday, Friday.
So already in circulation, the new box topper with the Martin Luther King Celebration Week information on it.
Correct.
Excellent. And as you mentioned, there is a coupon on there. I'll mention the coupon because Pizza Hut with a free order of breadsticks with a $20 purchase.
Correct.
Got to like that.
Yes.
All right. We'll come back and ask you more in just a moment on the WSJM Morning Show.
Heavier, keep that in mind for traveling. High temperatures today around 18, but wind chills will be 10 degrees or less most of today. Tonight down to 12, some lake effect snow remains, and tomorrow some sun and a high of 18. I'm Chief Meteorologist Carrie Peugeot.
The Morning Show with Ken and Friends on 94.9 WSJM.
It's the WSJM Morning Show. Good morning. We've got 7:50 is the time, 10 minutes until the top of the hour, 8 o'clock. Let's have this be part of our Moody on the Market update. And the Moody on the Market update is an opportunity for us to talk about business updates. We talk about life in Southwest Michigan and why we love it here. And we talk about interesting people that you should know. And I honestly, I think this hits all 3 of those categories because we're talking about business. We're talking about life in Southwest Michigan and why we love it here, and about interesting people you should know. And we're talking with Cam Hirth from Lake Michigan College, and we're talking with Brian Joseph from Pizza Hut, and creating the beloved community, the MLK Junior Celebration Week that starts with Dr. Martin Luther King Day, that is next Monday. And so one of the things that I wanted to ask Brian Joseph, because of Pizza Hut's commitment to being involved in the Martin Luther King Celebration Week, tell us a little bit more again about how that comes about. There are a lot of community things that a company, a business, a person can get involved in. This is one of the ones that you've shown a commitment to time and again. Why and how?
Well, I think it's important. We've I've had some challenges locally on both sides of the river over the years. And
you're talking about race.
Yeah. And honestly, we might have come over here on separate boats, but we're in the same boat today.
Yeah.
We all want great schools. We want fire and police protection. We want, infrastructure. And we want a great community to raise our kids, safe haven, I can tell you, my dad's 94 years old. He's down in Texas, but he still has his house north of Benton Harbor. But, my dad's been involved in, community for a very, very long time, creating, neighborhoods, doing fundraisers, in St. Joe. And so he's always been in the forefront of trying to make the community better. My uncle was the first African-American mayor in Benton Harbor, Charles Joseph, who turned 90 years old on January 10th, last Friday, and living in Arizona. So I've been surrounded by men and women who really support community involvement, great leadership. And let me just make one good point here for everybody to understand. It takes leadership to move communities forward. So I want to personally thank Dr. Kaboski, Cam, as well as Mary Jo Tomasini and Mr. Schaefer, Doug Schaefer out of the college, because they're the ones who reached out to me to say, let's say April of last year, about trying to get Magic Johnson here.
Yeah.
Now, we all know Magic is a billionaire and he's a very busy guy, but, collectively, we were all able to land him to come here. So when you talk about diversity, you look at a guy like Magic Johnson, who came in and did an amazing job. I mean, he blew me away, and I know him personally. I've known him since, 1980, since Michigan State, but there were people who were not here and they said they missed a huge opportunity. And I even had Raul Alvarez from Grand Rapids, who's a Michigan State alumni and recruiter, and he came to the event. And so since August 23rd, Raul has come down here, met with he and Charmaine at the Inlet Harbor Shores, and we're now talking about some other events through Michigan State, through the college, to do some additional things. So to be honest with you, I don't think this is the last time Magic Johnson will be in Benton Harbor. I believe this is a start, overall, and there's just some great opportunities, for our community. So that's why we have to continue to work together, with the college, with Doug, Dr. Kaboski, Cam, and Mary Jo Tomasini, because it takes leadership, it takes Whirlpool, it takes Jerry Price, Corwell Health, and that's why I'm involved.
Yeah. No, thank you for that. And we appreciate that involvement and your commitment to bringing this and keeping it forefront. We've got only a couple of minutes left here. And Cam, I wanted to bring you back into the conversation. When people think about Dr. Martin Luther King, where do you start? Where do you think about what his legacy means for us and what we should be doing today?
Well, When you raise that question, what quickly comes to mind is having had the opportunity to meet his son, MLK III, who was in our community in celebration of the MLK monuments being erected. And that it was wonderful to hear him echoing the words of his father, that being creating the beloved community. And then to see him following in the footsteps of his father, in the sense that we had the march from St. Joe down to Benton Harbor, and to see his humbleness and his commitment, and his joy. He had the opportunity to stop by the Martin Luther King Jr. Elementary School as we were, getting ready for that day of activities, and he engaged with the students, and he even led them in kind of like a mantra, and he was encouraging them to say it so loud that they can hear you across the street. So to see the spirit of MLK in his son and see how he shares that with the community, I think is an inspiring aspect on if he can do it, then we should be able to do this as well. Last year we spoke about the power of one voice.
That's
which
right.
was the theme. And then the year prior to that, it was keep moving forward.
Yeah.
And now we're creating the beloved community, building upon those aspects of our engagement with one another. And I think Brian has touched on it as well, in the sense that together, there's nothing that we can't do when we work together. And Dr. Kabatsky and the Board of Trustees and the leadership at Lake Michigan College, and the fact that we have these community partners that all see the same vision. I think we can overcome any and all challenges that might stand in our way of building this beloved community.
Outstanding. Well, thank you. We appreciate your commitment to this. We appreciate you bringing this to our community and creating the beloved community. Martin Luther King Jr. Celebration Week is January 20th through the 25th. Cam Hirth, Lake Michigan College, Brian Joseph, Pizza Hut. Thanks for coming in today and talking about this. Cam, where can people get more information if they want to know how to witness, get involved, etc.?
I think Moody on the Market. I think I'm pretty sure.
Absolutely, Moody on the Market.
Our marketing department
Yes.
Has shared a press release. So
Yes.
I asked them to follow that. Contact the college. Ask to speak with me, or at least to be connected to the Office of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion, and we'll be more than happy to share additional information. There should be a link in regards to the press release that's being shared through Moody on the Market as well. And come on out. It's a free event. It's open. We're going to have a fantastic time, a lot of musical enjoyment, and a lot of concrete information to share on what those next steps could be.
Very good. Cam Hirth, Lake Michigan College, Brian Joseph, Pizza Hut. Thank you both for coming in today.
Thank you, Ken.
All right.
We appreciate it.
You bet. It's WSJM. We'll be back with news in just a moment.
Hey, you got any gum?
Yeah, check my backpack.
What's this?
Oh, that's naloxone. It can reverse an opioid overdose. I decided to always keep it on me after my friend almost died. It saved his life.
Oh, wow. I'm so sorry. That makes me want to have it with me, too.
You totally should. Check the pharmacy. It was actually really easy to get, and it's easy to use.
I definitely will. Thanks.
Naloxone saves lives. Learn more at cdc.gov/stop-overdose.
Rich Brand and Tara Halsey from Insurance Management Service, your local auto owner's insurance agency in St. Joseph and Niles, know it means something to have peace of mind knowing your insurance is taken care of.
I want to just tell my clients thank you. That's why I come to work every day, establishing those relationships and feeling like I'm an important part of their business. They're counting on me to make sure that this asset of theirs is covered properly, and if something goes wrong, they've got peace of mind of knowing it's going to be taken care of.
Tarek and I, we love going to work every day. There's Sunday afternoons. It's like, man, I'm glad that Monday morning's only a couple of hours away. I can't wait to get back to work. And we enjoy the people that we work with in our office, and we enjoy the clients that we work with each and every day. We get excited every day about doing insurance in Berrien County in Southwest Michigan.
IMS, an auto owner's insurance agency in St. Joseph and in Niles.
ABC News. I'm Sherry Preston. With thousands of people now left homeless